So good evening. So my name is Nick. I'm originally from Brazil, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about React monorepos, specifically React monorepos. So I'm going to be covering what monorepos are, some of the good use cases for monorepos, and I'm going to be funneling, so it's going to be very specific in one way how to implement them. There's plenty. So let's get started. But before that, I just want to give a little bit of context. Actually, this is my first public presentation, so I was reading a website with some tips on how to prepare a presentation. And they said it's nice to establish my authority in the subject. And since I don't have any, I'm going to make some bullshit up here. Let's see how this goes. Just kidding. I've been interested in monorepos for a little bit over a year now. The first contact I had with it was in a client's project. I only put the name of the project there just to make another joke, because internally we refer to this project as Uber for dead people. So yeah, basically someone dies, you go to the website and fill a form, and they'll collect the dead guy and they'll cremate. It's a nice project. That was just a joke. Yeah, so while I was working on this project, I worked on it for almost a year, and I faced many interesting concepts that only a monorepo could offer, and the thing that caught my attention the most was how the code was reused. In this specific project, it was a full stack monorepo, and we were using Flow for type checking, and even the types, they were shared. So this was quite an interesting way how to approach it. But at the same time, I learned a lot of things that I wouldn't like to be doing on my own projects. So it's always a nice experience. And so I started playing by myself with React monorepos specifically. So some projects where I can share the UI between many different projects. And yeah, the outcome of that we're going to be discussing a little bit later. So what are monorepos? This is extremely broad. Basically, by definition, it's it stands for monolithic repository, and by definition, it's any repository that has many projects inside it. So it's being used by Google, it's being used by Babel, it's being used by Facebook's also using it, but not necessarily these projects have to be interconnected or share any code. It's just a concept. So it's a very, very broad concept. And so basically, it's a long read, it's a single repository and all of the source code. So that does not say a lot, right? Okay. And so just to be specific, I think I already mentioned this, I'm not going to be talking about full stack monorepos, and I'm not going to be talking about multi-language monorepos, because that can also exist, and it does not look nice. I'm not going to be talking about projects that they don't share anything with each other. I'm going to be specifically talking about React projects that will share component and possibly even logic. I already regret using the web view, so I have to come here all the time. Push the desk closer a little bit. Yeah. Just so I won't be. Where is it?
I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, you can. Sure. I thought this would be inconvenient, but I didn't realize it would be this big of an inconvenience. Okay, so when to use, it's a very complicated question. So before I answer the question, and I'm going to answer it with the most diplomatic answer you can expect, let's just list some pros and cons. So, and again, please do not take my word for it. This is all based on my perception of the problems and how monorepos are solving them. It doesn't mean it's true. I actually invite you to don't agree with me. It's even better. So in my opinion, like the biggest pro, of course, is sharing the code, right? And for me, it's also very nice to share configuration, because if you're sharing configuration, so for instance for ESLint or Jest or anything like that, you also simplify the setup. So if you have someone, if you have in your company many repositories implementing similar UI, maybe you could simplify everything with a single repository that you will have to set it up only once. You won't have to set up many different repositories. Right? And so some cons as well. Let's be a little bit negative. The size of the repository will grow way faster naturally because you don't have a single project inside it anymore. Right? So that's usually a big problem. In my experience, setting up CI and CD, it can be a little bit of a pain point as well, but definitely there are many solutions for that. It's just, again, based on my experiences. And the Git history, sometimes it's a little bit tricky since you're sharing a timeline between many projects. It can be quite messy. So now let's get back to the question: when to use it? And as I said, it's a very diplomatic answer. It's up to you. You will have to weigh the pros and cons because even though I listed pros and cons, something that I listed as a con, someone can see as a pro, and vice versa. It's very subjective, and just keep in mind that all of the decisions, they will have implications, so it's always good to know where you're going towards. In a React-specific monorepo context, I managed to find some different approaches. So I'm just going to briefly talk about a few of them. I think that was a spoiler. Never mind. Okay, so basically, I think that the most famous one would be Lerna. Basically, what Lerna is they got the tools out of, they extracted the tools from Babel monorepo, and it became the package Lerna. So you can say it's pretty well tested if Babel is using it. It gives some credibility to it. Then there's Bazel, which is a build system. So you can do monorepos with Bazel, but not only that, and not necessarily that. There's also Bit. I heard about it more recently. I don't know if you guys seen it. It's basically a repository for you to upload your components, and you can share it between projects quite easily. So, yeah. You can also do it with custom scripts. I highly discourage you from doing it, but you can, of course. Why not? And then we have Yarn workspaces. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about Yarn workspaces. It's the approach that I find the simplest, and that's why I'm going to expand on that a little bit. Right. So let's just talk a little bit about the advantages of it. So for me, the main advantage of Yarn workspaces is that it's very simple to configure. It doesn't require pretty much any knowledge. All you have to do is you go to your package.json and you just add this. You have to make it private. It's just a security manager because you shouldn't be publishing monorepos. And you simply will tell Yarn that that path are going to be the packages. Okay. It's pretty simple, right? And this is the structure that you should have. So if you have the packages and then you have a folder for, say, admin, and a folder for the UI, and a folder for the web, then Yarn will know that all of those folders inside packages, they can be a dependency from one another. Okay. So it's that makes it very easy for other packages in the same workspace to use each other as dependencies. It's as simple as this. You simply add it as a dependency on the package.json. And if you run yarn install, you'll be able to do this right away. You can just import whatever from the UI, and it's running. Another advantage is that it simplifies the dependencies. So for instance, if you have many packages using the same dependencies, you will install those dependencies only once, which even makes the network downloads faster and everything. So it's pretty nice. And if you see the contents inside the node modules, inside the packages, it's very simplified. This is all that's there. There's really, because everything goes to the root level of the node modules. So that's pretty, it's nice to see it's not like that crowded node modules. And usually what you're going to have there are like project-specific scripts on bin and the types. That's pretty much all you're going to get there. Most of the dependencies are just going to hoist up to the root node modules. And it also doesn't require any extra dependencies. It's all there. That's all the configuration you need to do. It's what I showed you. So if you do it right now, you're going to have a monorepo running pretty much. But there's always some downsides for every approach, right? So then again, one big issue is that it's quite often that you're going to have to clear the node modules and reinstall it. Yeah, it's just not quite there yet in terms of, I don't know exactly what the issue is, but especially in TypeScript, with types it gets completely lost sometimes. So you just have to remove everything and let's go again. But it works well. And of course, if you have a minimum configuration, you will have a minimum customization also. So depending on what you're trying to do, it might restrict you quite a lot. And it's not ideal for packages. They recommend you to use Lerna if you're making something that you're going to be publishing, but you still can use it. Okay, so how to implement it? Okay, so if you guys read the description of the event, I said that I was going to be extremely biased. So this is the time where it gets super biased, okay? And I'm going to talk about this package, Create React Monorepo, which has a very original name. I don't know, I created it, I don't know where the name came from. It was an inspired moment for sure. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about this package with you. So what it is, it's a simple CLI tool that allows you to choose a couple of things and has some very opinionated set of rules to it, but let's not talk about that. So if you just run npx create React Monorepo app and the name of your app, it'll guide you through like a quick process where you're going to be able to select which tools you would like to have in your monorepo. And yeah, so out of the box, it already includes ESLint, StyleLint, TypeScript, Husky for Git hooks, and there are some other tools that they're already set up for you to use. Of course, the configuration it's very opinionated. I didn't spend a lot of time making it that configurable. And so it also offers different web templates. You can choose between, right now I have the options for Create React App, Gatsby, and Next.js. So you can choose from those templates. And there's also some extra tooling templates such as the Storybook and Cypress if you want to set up your end-to-end tests or just have a nice view of your performance, you can just use those. Okay, so this is all you need to do to have your monorepo running. You just run this command, and it will guide you through some questions. So, which starter project you want to use. So you can choose from those three options. It'll ask you if you want to include a storybook, and if you want to include end-to-end tests. And these, if you want to include the templates, all this does is it's going to create a new script that you can add a new template at any time. So say you created your monorepo because you had an admin panel plus the website, and you want to create a blog. So you have the templates, you can just run the script and it'll create everything or install the dependencies. It's something just to help you out a little bit. So I would like to just check it, just to show you guys a little bit of how it looks, the whole the project structure, how it goes. So I'm just going to show you guys here. So this is the output after running the npx create React Monorepo app. So yeah, you have all the configuration files here, and inside we have the packages. So as I mentioned, we have the UI package, that this is by default. And then we have like the web project that already imports the UI project. And all of those, they'll have their own package JSON with their own dependencies. And this looks a lot nicer since we don't have all of the dev dependencies that were simply put here in the root. We also have all of the scripts to start and build all of those projects. And yeah, so here's also a configuration for Storybook. And everything is ready to be running. There's nothing that needs to be done right here. This is not the best thing. Yeah, so this is pretty much everything kind of put in a very biased way. And yeah, here are the scripts that I mentioned. So we have the install templates that will allow you to install any of these templates at any time you want. Yeah, so yeah, I forgot to mention, there's also the choice to add React Native app. But at the moment, it's not fully finished, the integration with the React Native and React UI. I'm working on adding the React Native web package to do that. I'm honestly not a big fan of it, but I think it could benefit people who want to have easily shared UI between native and web. So this is kind of what I'm working next. And okay, so just to wrap things up a little bit. Yeah, so I think that having a React Monorepo, it's a very nice way for you to share components and logic between different projects, but still have the consistency, and it also it simplifies a lot the development experience, which is also very nice. And so this tool that I mentioned, the Create React Monorepo app, it's simply a tool. It helps you out with setting up, but I think that the most important are the concepts involved with Monorepo and you being able to make the decision to use it or not. And I've been working on this for a little bit over 2 months, so there's really not a lot there. But if you guys get interested, and it'll be really nice to have some help with moving it forward. So if you guys would like to go open source, yeah, it'll be nice. And yeah, so that's it for me. You have to
questions? Yeah, is each of those packages deployable separately, or are they like built into something common?
So yeah, it's really up to you. You can do, like for instance, the first project that I worked on, they had a single Docker file that would Dockerize all of the projects and will deploy it once. But you can do it as you please, pretty much. It depends on how you want to build it.
Right, I see. So they like did it like in a micro front-end kind of way, right? So they just mounted like those 4 front-ends and into some kind of one wrapper.
Yes.
I see. All right.
Yeah, but it really you can approach it different ways. I've seen already like people just making a script that would build all of the UI or all of the UI projects, right? All the web projects, and they will have an Express server that will just serve static. So it really depends on you. It doesn't limit your options.
Right, but by default they are like separate projects built.
Yes. Yeah, by default they're their own projects, but just the thing is that you can easily import the other projects.
Yeah,
as dependencies. Yes.
Thanks.
I have actually one question. Whether the Yarn workspace uses Symlink or how they connect
Yes.
together?
They use Symlinks.
Which is quite important because otherwise you couldn't change one package without installing that in other package.
Yeah, which reminds me that it causes a big issue with React Native because React Native doesn't like Symlinks at all. So there's some configurations, but it's also I'm adding it by default, so it's not something that anyone would have to worry about. But what it does is instead of hoisting the dependencies from React Native projects to the root, it keeps in the React Native project because otherwise React Native just gets absolutely lost. And they they really don't work well with Symlinks.
Questions?
We are using Monorepos in our company, and we have some problem with flow because the one package cannot see the flow type from the other package, which has the code and displays everything.
So, yeah, in the project that I worked that was using Flow, most of the shared types, they were being exported from a common package. So all of the types were being exported, and it depends on how you build it, because you have to make the build, right? So depending on the way you do it, I don't remember exactly what we were using to build, but you have to export the types from like a common project. Yeah, that was kind of the main use for Monorepo in that context, to share the types. Yeah. It's not working anyway? No way?
So find the link to which can export the types from the packages.
Yeah.
Is that answer?
Yeah, I can try to. If you ping me, I can try to help with that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Any more questions? If not, thank you, Nic.